game coming up for United States next is Mexico. So let's remind ourselves of how the Mauricio Pochettino era got underway. It was a 2-0 win over Panama just a few months after that costly meeting in the Copa America group stage. And now all eyes turn to the game tomorrow against Mexico in Mexico. So let's get Casey Keller. I hope he wasn't hearing that goalkeeper slander from Ali Moreno right then. Let's go back before we go forward, Casey. What did you make of the first game under Pochettino?
Well, first of all, Kay, I played in a cup final against Burrow. How'd that go?
Oh, all right. Well, no need to mention that, though, is there, Casey?
How did it go, Casey?
I was really surprised. I think the first half of that match against Panama, I think the hedge fund guys were thinking, "Wow, can I get my money back?" It was slow. I think after the first 50 seconds, where Anthony Robinson had a decent little chance, I thought, "Okay, here we go. This is something that we can look forward to." And then there was absolutely nothing. And then good response out of halftime, that expectation that, okay, the manager had a go, this isn't good enough, I expect more than this. Okay, they get the goal. And then it was like, wait a minute, did they sign Simeone or did they sign Pochettino? And then the team just kind of dropped back, did nothing. Panama, by far the better team for 20, 30 minutes of that second half, missed an absolute sitter, 86th minute, 87th minute to tie the game, and then as Panama's pushing numbers forward, they get the second. But I'm just thinking, this has to be better. They didn't spend this kind of money for this.
Casey, they did win, though. What did you learn then? What did you learn? What's your biggest takeaway?
That sometimes it's nice to be lucky than to be good, because like I said, there was no different from the New Zealand game. New Zealand just finished their chance at the end of the match to make it 1-1. Panama had the chance and they blew it. Now, if it had been a qualifying game, Kay, and you told me, okay, you played poorly, but somehow you win 2-0, I'm like, okay, that's cool. You picked up your 3 points. You didn't play well. You go on the road. Now you have a good chance of qualifying the World Cup. But a friendly in the manager's first game, where you would expect players' hair to be on fire, and it was that slow and that kind of non-dynamic. And in the end, Panama was the better team in the second half. Now, there's a lot of work to be done.
Let it be known that as it pertains to the breakdown of this game, I understand where Casey's coming from, but I was glass half full.
Absolutely, for once.
Okay, and compared to this, I mean, glass really full. I'm just saying.
I know. Let's see what he's got to say about the goalkeeping situation. Matt Turner, that double save, Casey, from Matt Turner.
Yes, really what it's going to take somebody else to actually be playing somewhere. I mean, and go, okay, let's put some pressure on this, just like Matt did, to get that opportunity with the national team. So right now, yes, it's still Matt's because of lack of someone else.
Oh, right. Well, okay.
Casey's edgy today. He's edgy. I like edgy Casey.
Casey demands the highest quality from his team. Just a reminder of how things stand for the US men playing in Mexico when it comes to competitive games and friendlies. The only win, August 2012, a 1-0 friendly win back then. It's 1-4 and 22 as we welcome in Lizzie Becherano to talk more about this game coming up tomorrow. Lizzie, thank you so much for being with us. Tell us how this game is being regarded in Mexico.
I'm so happy to be here. There's a lot of excitement here in Mexico. The Mexican national team is returning to Guadalajara for the first time in 14 years and playing the United States on Mexican soil for the first time in 12 years. Now, it's one of their biggest rivals and the anticipation is high. Estadio Akron right here with a capacity of 46,000 is sold out for tomorrow. So everyone is expecting a really big game.
Obviously, a really big game. Are they confident, the Mexicans, against this US side, Lizzie?
Absolutely not. They are coming off a disappointing draw against Valencia a couple days ago in Puebla. It is the first kind of international window under new head coach Javier Aguirre. He's been with the national team before, but this is a new era and there is a lot of nerve, especially against one of their biggest rivals. So we shall see tomorrow.
Lizzie, let's talk about the changes we might be seeing in the US team, because obviously we know there are going to be some. One of them, no Christian Pulisic, who's been taken out now for load management. What changes can we expect from the US?
Yes, Pulisic is one of 5 players who departed the camp, alongside Marlon Fassi, Zach Steffen, Weston McKennie, and Ricardo Pepi. The other 4 were due to injury. So we can expect Haji Wright to be back in the starting lineup, potentially even Alejandro Sendejas, who plays in Liga MX, so he's not familiar to playing at Estadio Akron. We may even see Brandon Vasquez, who plays in Monterrey, and again, no stranger to playing on Mexican soil.
All right. Ali, what are you expecting in this game then, given that there are going to be some absences now as well for the US?
And Casey gave the perspective as to what we thought we were going to get from the United States at home in that first game for Mauricio Pochettino, hair on fire sort of thing. Well, if anybody needs a hair on fire sort of performance, it's Mexico in Mexico. Man, let me tell you, they have struggled. And we don't quite know whether this is a struggle that is going to go away magically because Javier Aguirre shows up, because guess what? The player personnel hasn't improved all that much. And so what I would want to see, if I were a Mexican fan, is energy, intensity, urgency. What I would like to see, if I were a United States fan, is energy, intensity, urgency. Both of those things are needed from both teams and both managers. They both had disappointing Copa Americas. They have both made coaching changes, and they come into this game looking for answers, trying to figure out who are the players that have the character, that have the strength, that have the physical toughness and the mental toughness to push this team forward in a game in which maybe a friendly, but there's tension coming into it from both sides. I think both managers are very curious to see as to what players are going to show up in this match.
Casey, how do you feel about Pulisic not being available for this one? Obviously, it's a huge rivalry, even when it is a friendly.
Well, I think basically what Pochettino has said is, don't ever ask me that I haven't had enough time with my players. That I'm cool, no problem. You go home. I don't need you for the biggest rivalry game. I'll play with these guys. So I think basically he's just said the clubs are more important than the national team, not the way I would have started my tenure as the national team coach. I would have tried to get the players, and I hear so many reporters talk about, oh, we needed to hire this manager because we wasted this opportunity with players in this window and we could have done this, and then it's like, nah, that's okay. Go back to your club. I don't care. So yeah, I'm really questioning that decision, and kind of we keep talking about this. Pochettino's going to come in and set this culture, and the culture is, hey, I'd rather be at my club. Okay, fine, go ahead.
And by the way, it's Mexico.
Yes, 100%, Ollie. It's
right?
Mexico.
And so if there was one game that is most important above all in this region for the United States, it's Mexico. And the supremacy that the United States and dominance that the United States have had over Mexico as of late is one that they must continue to have. It's not only the physical superiority, but the mental superiority, and saying, we are better than you. You know it, and we know it. And you have a chance to go prove that in Mexico with a new manager, with your players. You may have injuries, you may have load management concerns, whatever the case may be. But this is a game that I think require more than just showing up. I think you're sending a message to everybody. You're sending a message to them in Mexico, you're sending a message to yourself, and you're sending a message to your fans that, hey, this matters. It matters to me because it matters to you as a fan, because it matters to you as a player. It was an opportunity wasted, I think, from the perspective of Mauricio Pochettino, to send a message to everybody, his players included, the leaders of this team. We're going to need you in this sort of matchups.
Lizzie, obviously, Christian Pulisic, a big star for the US. Has there been reaction in Mexico to him not being in this game?
No, not yet. There hasn't been a huge reaction, but I agree. I guess this may be technically a friendly, but a match between Mexico and the United States is never friendly. And this was also an opportunity for the United States to play outside of their comfort zone, given that they will not have World Cup qualifiers leading up to 2026. Mexican fans are extremely excited to face a strong U.S. team, but there has not been a huge reaction to having no Pulisic.
What about Pochettino, Casey, then, if I can, from you? What result does he need here, and what's he going to get here?
personally, to me, I think they need to get beat by 3 goals. And then maybe it's the wake-up call that maybe we need to take this a little more serious. Because I just don't understand this at all. I don't understand. You're doing everything you can. You know, what did I read before this? There's 10 camps before the World Cup. Here's your first opportunity to set the first impression, to say, this is how we're going to react. And the whole message right now is, okay, go ahead, leave. And I don't get it. I truly, truly don't understand it. So what I'd like to see is an awakening. Of course, I'd love to see the U.S. continue their dominance, but I'm worried that the tone that's being set is of not the intensity that Ollie was just talking about. It's like, yeah, fine, we'll be okay with these guys, and you go ahead, go back to your club. That's more important than this match anyway.
Okay, glass half full. Tell us about tomorrow.
Let me tell you something about tomorrow. I don't care about tomorrow. I care about today and Casey. I care about today and Casey. See, Lizzie, she's bringing us a smile. She's bringing us charisma. Casey's saying, I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in any of that. Get beat 3-0. I don't think that would be useful, by the way. I understand Casey's point, but I do think that there needs to be a shift in the understanding of how important the games are for the United States against Mexico. And maybe you got to go through that if you're Mauricio Pochettino to get a full understanding and appreciation of the rivalry. I must say, and we had the discussion with Stevie, and I'll say it again today. I thought this was a game in which you can send so many messages to everybody, and I just mentioned that. But it's an evaluation of a moment that could be the sort of moment that you run across in a World Cup match. Now, some people will say, well, it's just a friendly. It's Mexico struggling. Yeah, but this is a rivalry in Mexico where you haven't done well. And so you need to test your players and see what you can do in this sort of environment so that when you get to the World Cup stage, you're not guessing as to how these guys are going to react with that sort of pressure. Again, wasted opportunity for me. I agree with Casey in the premise of his argument. I don't think that losing 3-0 really helps anybody.
Well, obviously, there was some sarcasm there, but it's the point that...
Casey, I've never seen you so down after a 2-0 win for the U.S.
But, Kate, give me something to be excited about. And that's what I said. I mean, you just made this huge investment. You just blew out the bank. You had to go to Wall Street to pay for it. And every message from the way the team played to now squad selection is, do we really care about this? And that's not what I expected. I expected this, and then what was the conversation from all the players during the camp? Oh, it's a new level of intensity. You know, we got to be at our best and all this kind. And then everything is just falling flat.
To our trainings, to our training. Don't forget about the 2-hour training.
That's
Casey.
right. You know, and it's all fallen flat. And I'm sorry, you only have so many opportunities. And what a massive wasted opportunity. And Ollie, not only is it Mexico, but it's not like you've been dominating matches over the last 6-8 months. They need every match they can get to get themselves in some sort of form before the World Cup, not just this one's okay and it's a friendly in Mexico and go back to your club.
I think we need Lizzie to pick up.
I think we do.
We need Lizzie to pick up the charisma.
Save us, Lizzie. What's your prediction tomorrow?
Honestly, 2-2 draw. It works for both sides, unfortunately.
Ah, no.
I just don't know if that works for Casey.
No, Lizzie. You were doing so well, Lizzie. No.
What's 2-2 going to do for Casey?
It's not going to work for that side, I'm going to tell you that much.
No, don't listen to these, Lizzie. You've got great stuff from you. Thanks so much for being with us. And Casey, can someone go check on Casey, please?
Yes, welfare check,
yeah,
please.
You don't want to come around me right now.
Thank you.
Casey.